Hello everyone, I am Karen Joy A. Kirit, a fourth-year Bachelor of Elementary Education student, and welcome to this pre-recorded lecture discussion on Philippine literature. This discussion is part of my B.Ed Access 3 requirement and will serve as an educational video for the General Education English subject. Philippine literature is a reflection of our history, culture, struggles, and triumphs. It showcases our identity as Filipinos through various literary forms, from epics and folktales to novels, poems, and plays. By understanding Philippine literature, we gain a deeper appreciation of our nation's literary achievements and their impact on society. Now, join me as I analyze 90 test items for this subject. Without further ado, let's begin. So question number 1. Who is known as the father of Philippine literature? Is it A. Jose Rizal, B. Francisco Balagtas, or C. Nick Joaquin, or D. Lope K. Santos? So the correct answer is letter B. Francisco Balagtas. So Francisco Balagtas is known as the father of Philippine literature because of his significant contribution to Filipino poetry and literature, particularly through his masterpiece, Florante at Laura. His influence extends to the development of the Balagtasan, a form of poetic debate. Now let's proceed to question number 2. What is the title of Jose Rizal's first novel? Is it A. Noli Me Tangere, B. El Filibusterismo, C. Mi Ultimo Adios, or D. La Solidaridad? So the correct answer is letter A. Noli Me Tangere. So Noli Me Tangere was published in 1887 and is Jose Rizal's first novel. It exposed the injustices and corruption of Spanish colonial rule in the Philippines, sparking a sense of nationalism among Filipinos. His second novel, El Filibusterismo, is a sequel to Noli Me Tangere. Now let's proceed to question number 3. Who wrote the epic Biag ni Lamang? Is it A. Amado B. Hernandez, B. Francisco Balagtas, C. Ilocano elders, or D. Jose Corazon de Jesus? So the correct answer is letter C. Ilocano elders. Biag ni Lamang is an Ilocano epic that tells the story of the hero Lamang, who possessed extraordinary strength and bravery. This epic was passed down orally by Ilocano elders before it was recorded in written form. So the correct answer is letter C. Ilocano elders. For question number 4. What is the main message of Mi Ultimo Adios? So is it A. Betrayal, B. War and Peace, C. Revenge, D. Love for country? So the correct answer is letter D. Love for country. Mi Ultimo Adios, My Last Farewell, is Jose Rizal's final poem before his execution. In this poem, Rizal expresses his deep love for the Philippines and is willingly to die for his country. Question number 5. Who is the author of Florante at Laura? So, is it A. Luwalhati Bautista, B. Francisco Balagtas, C. Jose Garcia Villa, or D. F. Chanel Jose? So the correct answer is letter B. Francisco Balagtas. Florante at Laura is a famous metrical romance written by Francisco Balagtas in awit or metrical romance form. It reflects themes of love, betrayal, and justice while symbolizing the social injustices during the Spanish period. For question number 6. What is the literary form of Ibong Adarna? Is it A. Epic, B. Novel, C. Short story, or D. Folk song? So the correct answer is letter A. Epic. So Ibong Adarna is a Philippine epic that tells the story of the magical bird Adarna. The story involves adventure, family loyalty, and the triumph of good over evil. Now for question number 7. Who is known as the Dean of Filipino Playwrights? Is it A. Wilfrido Ma Guerrera, B. Nick Joaquin, C. Amado V. Hernandez, or D. Jose Garcia Villa? So the correct answer is letter A. Wilfrido Maria Guerrero. So Wilfrido Maria Guerrero is known for his contributions to Philippine theater. His plays explore Filipino customs, traditions, and social issues. Now for question number 8. What is the common theme in pre-colonial Philippine literature? Is it A. Religious beliefs, B. Love and war, C. Everyday life and nature, or D. Nationalism? So the correct answer is letter C. Everyday life and nature. So pre-colonial Philippine literature reflects the indigenous way of life, including respect for nature, family values, and community life. It also includes folktales, legends, myths, and epics. Now, let's proceed to question number 9. Who wrote The Woman Who Had Two Navels? Is it A. Nick Joaquin, B. F. Chanel Jose, C. N.V.M. Gonzalez, or D. Edith Tiempo? So, the correct answer is letter A. Nick Joaquin. So, The Woman Who Had Two Navels is a novel by Nick Joaquin. It explores themes of colonialism, identity, and the clash between tradition and modernity. Now let's proceed to question number 10. What is awit at corrido known for? Is it A. Religious teachings, B. Love and adventure stories, C. Social issues, or D. Satirical humor? So the correct answer is letter B. Love and adventure stories. So awit, or slow and melodic, and corrido, faster, are narrative poems about chivalry, love, and heroism. For example is The Florante at Laura, which is an example of awit. Now, let's proceed to question number 11. What type of literature is Hudhud ni Aligayon? Aligayon rather. Is it A. Short story, B. Epic, C. Novel, or D. Poetry? So, the correct answer is epic. Hudhud ni Aligayon is an Ifugao epic that tells the story of Aligayon, a skilled warrior. It is traditionally chanted during rice planting and harvesting seasons. Epics like this reflect the indigenous people's worldview and values. Now let's proceed to question number 12. Who is the author of Banaag at Sikat? Is it A. Jose Rizal, B. Lope K. Santos, C. F. Chanel Jose, or D. Nick Joaquin? So the correct answer is letter B. Lope K. Santos. Banaag at Sikat on 1906 is considered the first socialist novel in the Philippines. It explores themes of class struggle, social justice, and workers' rights. Lope K. Santos is also known for his contributions to Filipino grammar and language development. Now let's proceed to question number 13. Which literary period focused on oral traditions and folk literature? Is it A. Pre-colonial, B. Spanish period, D. American period, C. American period, D. Contemporary period? So, the correct answer is letter A. Pre-colonial. Pre-colonial literature consisted of oral traditions like myths, legends, riddles, and proverbs. This period reflected the indigenous way of life and belief systems before Spanish colonization. Now let's proceed to question number 14. What is passion? What is passion? Is it a revolutionary poem? Letter B, a war chronicle? Letter C, a religious epic? Or is it letter D, a novel about nationalism? So, the correct answer is letter A, a religious epic. Passion narrates the passion, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. It is traditionally sung during Holy Week as a form of religious devotion. It reflects the deep influence of Christianity on Filipino culture and literature. Now for question number 15. Who is the national artist for literature known for A Season of Grace? Is it A. Amado V. Hernandez, B. NVM Gonzalez, C. F. Chanel Jose, or D. Bienvenido Lombera? So the correct answer for question number 15 is letter B, NVM Gonzalez. NVM Gonzalez is known for works that explore Filipino rural life and social issues. A Season of Grace portrays the struggles of Filipino farmers and the challenges of rural life. He was honored as a national artist for contributions to Philippine literature. Now let's proceed to question number 16. How does the concept of colonial mentality manifest in Philippine literature? Is it A, through works that elevate foreign ideals over native traditions? Or B, by incorporating indigenous folklore into modern narratives? C, by portraying resistance against colonization as futile? Or D, through themes that celebrate linguistic and cultural diversity? So the correct answer for question number 16 is A, through works that elevate foreign ideals over native traditions. Colonial mentality refers to the tendency to value foreign culture more than Filipino identity. This is reflected in literature that criticizes the preference for Western values and materialism over indigenous traditions. Now let's go to question number 17. In Florante at Laura, how does Francisco Balagtas use allegory to critique colonial rule? Is it A, by illustrating Florante's struggles as a reflection of Filipino oppression? Or B, by portraying Laura as an embodiment of Spanish governance? Or C, by romanticizing the role of friars in Philippine society? Or D, by depicting Adolfo as a heroic figure? So the correct answer for question number 17 is letter A, by illustrating Florante's struggles as a reflection of Filipino oppression. Florante's sufferings symbolize the oppression of Filipinos under Spanish rule. Balagtas used allegory to safely express criticism against the Spanish authorities without facing direct persecution. Now let's proceed to question number 18. What does the mythical Ibong Adarna represent in Philippine literature? Is it A, the endurance required to overcome challenges? B, the corrupt nature of political leadership? Or C, the deep-rooted effects of colonization? Or D, the inescapable nature of destiny? So the correct answer for question number 18 is letter A, the endurance required to overcome challenges. The journey to capture the Ibong Adarna symbolizes the trials and sacrifices needed to achieve success. The story reflects the importance of courage, loyalty, and perseverance. Now let's proceed to question number 19. Why is the Passion considered a significant literary work in Philippine history? Is it A, it was a tool for spreading nationalist ideals? Or B, it played a role in fueling anti-colonial sentiments? Or C, it was the earliest recorded epic in Philippine literature? Or D, it remains the longest known Filipino poetic work? So the correct answer is letter B. It played a role in fueling anti-colonial sentiments. The religious message of Passion was interpreted as a metaphor for the suffering of Filipinos under Spanish rule. It inspired revolutionary figures like Andres Bonifacio and served as a source of nationalist inspiration. Now let's proceed to question number 20. Which of the following best captures the theme of social realism in Philippine literature? Is it A. Tales of mythical beings and fantastical journeys? B. Exploration of societal struggles and economic disparity? C. Romantic narratives centered on Filipino courtship traditions? Or D. Neutral accounts of historical figures and events? So the correct answer for number 20 is letter B. Exploration of societal struggles and economic disparity. Social realism reflects the reality of social and economic issues faced by Filipinos. Works by Amado V. Hernandez and F. Chanel Jose are examples of social realism, highlighting poverty, corruption, and inequality. Now let's proceed to question number 21. How did American colonization impact Philippine literature? Is it A. By discouraging English language writing? Is it B. By introducing new literary forms like the short story and modern essay? Or C. By reinforcing Spanish as the dominant language of literature? Or D. By eliminating native storytelling traditions? So the correct answer is letter B. By introducing new literary forms like the short story and modern essay. The American period introduces English as a medium of instruction, which influenced Philippine literature. Literary forms like the short story, essay, and free verse poetry became popular. Writers like Jose Garcia Villa and Nick Joaquin emerged during this period. Now let's proceed to question number 22. In El Filibusterismo, what does Crisostomo Ibarra's transformation into Simon signify? Is it A. The disillusionment of peaceful reform and return to revolution? B. The gradual decline of Philippine literary traditions? C. The submission of Filipinos to Spanish rule? Or D. The reconciliation of the Filipino elite with colonial authorities? So the correct answer is letter A. The disillusionment with peaceful reform and turn to revolution. In Noli Me Tangere, Ibarra believed in peaceful reforms, but in El Filibusterismo, his transformation into Simon reflects his frustration and desire to use violence for change. Rizal's shift in tone reflects the growing nationalist movement against Spanish rule. Now let's proceed to question number 23. What is the primary role of oral traditions such as riddles and proverbs in early Philippine literature? Is it A. They provide a means of entertainment with no moral implications? Is it B. They preserve traditional knowledge and values across generations? Or C. They were used exclusively in religious ceremonies? Letter D. They eventually replaced written literary traditions. So, the correct answer is letter B. They preserve traditional knowledge and values across generations. So, oral traditions helped pass down customs, values, and knowledge. Proverbs or salawikain and riddles, which is bugtong, taught moral lessons and sharpened thinking skills. They reflect Filipino identity and collective wisdom. Now let's proceed to question number 24. How does Suyuan sa Tubigan reflect Filipino rural life? Is it A. By depicting the challenges of migrant workers abroad? Letter B. by showcasing everyday interactions and traditions in rural settings. Letter C, by tackling the impact of political conflicts in urban Manila. Or letter D, by highlighting the effects of modernization on Filipino culture. So the correct answer for number 24 is letter B, by showcasing everyday interactions and traditions in rural settings. Suyuan sa tubigan, or courtship in the river, depicts rural life, courtship, and social norms. It highlights Filipino customs and the connection to nature and the community. Now, question number 25. Which literary style is most associated with Nick Joaquin? Is it A, magic realism? Letter B, folklore with historical narratives? Letter B, combining folklore with historical narratives? Letter B, formalist storytelling with rigid structural elements? Letter C, documentary-style historical narratives? Or letter D, simplistic storytelling with direct moral lesson? So the correct answer for question number 25 is letter A, magic realism combining folklore with historical narratives. So Nick Joaquin's works blend myth, history, and modern life. His writing style reflects Filipino culture's mix of indigenous beliefs and colonial influences. So, for example, The Woman Who Had Two Navels explores historical and personal identity through a magical lens. Now, let's proceed to question number 26. What is a defining feature of Philippine post-colonial literature? Is it A, a focus on indigenous spirituality and ancestral heritage? B, a reinterpretation of colonial history from a native perspective? Letter C, a rejection of all Western literary influences? Or letter D, a revival of traditional oral storytelling forms? So the correct answer is letter A, a reinterpretation of colonial history from a native perspective. So post-colonial literature challenges colonial narratives and reclaims Filipino identity. Writers like Carlos Bulosan and F. Chanel Jose focused on nationalism and social justice. It reflects the ongoing struggle to define Filipino identity beyond colonial influence. Now let's proceed to question number 27. So in contemporary Philippine literature, how is the theme of diaspora commonly explored? Is it A, by focusing on stories that examine identity, displacement, and cultural integration? Letter B, by idealizing the experiences of overseas Filipino workers? Or letter C, by focusing exclusively on the economic struggles of migrant laborers? Or letter D, by completely disregarding the effects of globalization? So the correct answer is letter B, by focusing on stories that examine identity, displacement, and cultural integration. Diaspora literature explores the lives of Filipinos living abroad. Themes include identity, homesickness, cultural clashes, and the search for belonging. Writers like Carlos Bulosan and Jessica Hagedorn explore the Filipino immigrant experience. Now let's go to question number 28. Which strategy best helps students understand Florante at Laura in its historical context? Is it A, identifying its poetic structure? Letter B, relating it to colonial oppression? Letter C, memorizing key passages? Or letter D, listing its major characters? So the correct answer is letter B, relating it to colonial oppression. Florante at Laura is an allegory of Spanish colonial rule. Understanding the historical background helps students grasp the deeper political and social commentary. Francisco Balagtas used symbolism to express resistance against Spanish oppression. Now let's proceed to question number 29. How can teachers effectively highlight the role of oral literature in preserving Filipino culture? Is it A, by requiring students to recite ancient epics? Or letter B, by analyzing their themes and values? Or letter C, by translating them into modern language? Or letter D, by comparing them to Western texts? Well, the correct answer is letter B, by analyzing their themes and values. Discussing the meaning behind proverbs, riddles, and myths helps students understand Filipino values and beliefs. Encouraging students to reflect on how oral traditions influence modern Filipino culture deepens their appreciation. Now let's go to question number 30. What does Dead Stars by Paz Marquez Benitez reveal about Filipino society during the American period? Is it A, political unrest, B, conflicting values, C, economic struggles, D, religious influence? So the correct answer is letter B, conflicting values. Dead Stars reflects the conflict between traditional Filipino values and Western influences introduced during the American period. The story explores themes of love, choice, and disillusionment. It highlights the struggle of Filipinos to adapt to changing social norms under American rule. Now let's go to question number 31. Which method best introduces Biag Nilamang to highlight its cultural significance? Is it A, comparing it with foreign epics? Letter B, identifying its supernatural elements? Letter C, discussing its historical relevance? Or letter D, relating it to present-day values? Well, the correct answer is letter C, discussing its historical relevance. So, Biag Nilamang reflects the pre-colonial Filipino culture and the values of ancient Ilocano society. Its narrative includes themes of heroism, destiny, and supernatural elements rooted in Filipino tradition. Understanding the historical background helps students appreciate its cultural and historical significance. Now let's proceed to question number 32. How does Ibong Adarna teach moral values? Is it A, through character struggles, B, through religious symbolism, letter C, through political messages, or letter D, through historical accuracy? Well, the correct answer is letter A, through character struggles. The story teaches lessons about patience, forgiveness, and faithfulness. Don Juan's trials and eventual success reflect the importance of perseverance and moral integrity. The conflict between the brothers shows the consequences of jealousy and betrayal. Now let's proceed to question number 33. In Noli Me Tangere, what technique does Rizal use to criticize colonial rule? Is it A, satire, B, foreshadowing, C, allegory, or D, flashback? So, the correct answer is satire. Rizal used satire to expose the corruption and hypocrisy of Spanish officials and friars. For example, the character of Padre Damaso represents the abusive power of the friars. Satire made Rizal's criticisms more acceptable to readers while conveying his message of reform. Now let's go to question number 34. Which pair of authors best represents the transition from pre-colonial to modern Philippine literature? Is it A, Francisco Balagtas and Jose Garcia Villa? Letter B, Amado V. Hernandez and F. Chanel Jose? Letter C, Nick Joaquin and N.V.M. Gonzalez? Or is it letter D, Lualhari Bautista and Bienvenido Lombera? So, the correct answer is letter A, Francisco Balagtas and Jose Garcia Villa. Francisco Balagtas starts from pre-colonial and Spanish period, which known for his work Florante at Laura, reflects colonial resistance. and Jose Garcia Villa begins during modern period, which is known for his modernist and free verse poetry. This pair reflects the shift from traditional to modern literary forms. Now, question number 35. How do Salawikain contribute to Philippine literature? Is it A, by reinforcing traditions? Letter B, by preserving history? Letter C, by influencing dialects? Or letter D, by shaping politics? So the correct answer is letter B, by reinforcing. 35, the correct answer is letter A, by reinforcing traditions. Salawikain or proverbs teach moral values and reflect traditional Filipino beliefs. For example, kung ano ang itinanim, siya rin ang aanihin, teaches the value of hard work and consequences of actions. They reflect Filipino customs, values, and ways of thinking. Now let's proceed to question number 36. What is the main function of Philippine epics? Is it A, to record history? Letter B, to entertain audiences? Letter C, to transmit beliefs? Or letter D, to preserve language? So the correct answer is letter C, to transmit beliefs. Epics like Biag ni Lamang and Hinilawod reflect ancient Filipino beliefs, customs, and social structures. They preserve cultural values such as bravery, loyalty, and respect for nature. Epics served as a way to pass down moral lessons and reinforce collective identity. Now let's go to question number 37. Why is Florante at Laura considered a social commentary? Is it letter A, it depicts colonial abuse? Letter B, it promotes nationalism? Letter C, it showcases Filipino customs? Or letter D, it focuses on romantic ideals? So the correct answer is letter A, it depicts colonial abuse. Balagtas used the story of Florante's suffering under Adolfo's rule as a metaphor for Spanish colonial oppression. The characters symbolize the Filipino people's struggle under Spanish rule. The work reflects the importance of freedom and justice. Now for question number 38. How does the woman who had two navels reflect Filipino identity? Is it A, by presenting a fragmented past? Letter B, by depicting rural life? Or letter C, by romanticizing traditions? Or letter D, by focusing on folklore? So the correct answer is letter A, by presenting a fragmented past. The story explores the themes of colonial identity and the confusion it causes among Filipinos. The two navels symbolize the struggle between Filipino identity and colonial influence. Nick Joaquin reflects the fragmented Filipino identity shaped by Spanish and American rule. Now question number 39. Which Filipino literary genre conveys historical narratives through poetry? Is it A, awit, B, epiko, C, dula, D, nobela? The correct answer is letter B, epiko. Epiko are long narrative poems that recount the exploits of heroes and historical events. For example, Biag ni Lamang and Hinilawod reflect ancient Filipino beliefs and social structures. They serve as both entertainment and a means of preserving cultural history. Now question number 40. What theme is common in Luwalhati Bautista's novels? Is it A, gender roles, B, social injustice, C, political resistance, or D, family traditions? So the correct answer is letter B, social injustice. Luwalhati Bautista's works such as Dekada 70 and Bata Bata Paano Ka Ginawa focus on political and social issues. She explores the effects of martial law, women's struggles, and economic inequality. Her writing reflects the challenges faced by ordinary Filipinos during times of a political turmoil. Now let's go to question number 41. How does El Filibusterismo differ from Noli Me Tangere? Letter A, it highlights romance. B, it focuses on reforms. C, it satirizes religion. Or D, it promotes revolution. So the correct answer is letter D, it promotes revolution. Noli Me Tangere focuses on peaceful reforms through education and dialogue, while El Filibusterismo reflects Rizal's disillusionment and shift towards revolution as the solution to colonial oppression. Now let's proceed to question number 42. Why is Passion significant in Philippine literature? Is it A, it documents early traditions? B, it preserves folk beliefs? Letter C, it reflects faith and suffering? Or D, it criticizes colonial rule? So the correct answer is letter C, it reflects faith and suffering. Passion narrates the passion, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. It became a symbol of Filipino faith and resilience under colonial rule. Now let's proceed to question number 43. How does Banaag at Sikat contribute to Philippine literature? Is it A, it promotes heroism? B, it romanticizes labor? C, it reflects religious values? Or D, it introduces socialist themes? So the correct answer is letter D. It introduces socialist themes. It is written by Lope K. Santos, and it explores class struggles and advocates for workers' rights and socialism. Now for question number 44. What is the major theme in Philippine post-colonial literature? Is it A, religious devotion? B, national identity? C, political harmony? Or D, economic stability? So the correct answer is letter B, national identity. Post-colonial literature reflects the search for cultural identity and healing from colonial trauma. Now, question number 45. How did American colonization influence Philippine literature? Is it A, by discouraging native stories? B, by promoting Spanish texts? C, by introducing modern prose? Or D, by erasing local dialects? So the correct answer is letter C, by introducing modern prose. So American colonization introduced new literary forms like the short story, free verse, and modern essay. Now let's proceed to question number 46. What is the primary theme in Philippine diaspora literature? Is it A, cultural adaptation? B, political struggle? C, religious devotion? Or D, family loyalty? So the correct answer is letter A, cultural adaptation. Diaspora literature explores the experiences of Filipinos abroad, focusing on identity, belonging, and adjustment. Now let's proceed to question number 47. Which social issue is commonly addressed in Philippine short stories? Is it A, environmental change? B, globalization? C, corruption? D, warfare? So the correct answer is letter C, corruption. Philippine short stories often reflect government corruption, poverty, and social inequality. Now for question number 48. Why is balagtasan important in Philippine literary traditions? Is it A, it preserves ancient scripts? B, it promotes poetic debate? Letter C, it develops language skills? Or letter D, it challenges colonial rule? So the correct answer is letter B, it promotes poetic debate. Balagtasan is a form of verbal jousting in poetry, where participants debate social or political issues. Number 49. Which work best represents the struggles of overseas Filipino workers? Is it A, Ilustrado? B, America is in the Heart? D, Tatarin? C, Tatarin? Or D, Dekada 70? So the correct answer is letter B, America is in the Heart. It is written by Carlos Bulusan and it reflects the harsh realities faced by Filipinos working abroad. Question number 50. What characterizes contemporary Philippine poetry? Is it A, classical themes? B. Colonial influences, C. Free verse and realism, or D. Formal meter and rhyme? The correct answer is letter C. Free verse and realism. Contemporary poetry often reflects personal and social issues through free verse and direct language. Now, question number 51. How does Suyuan sa Tubigan reflect rural life? Is it A. It idealizes farm life, B. It portrays urban migration, C. It criticizes modern lifestyles, or D. It depicts everyday struggles? The correct answer is letter D. It depicts everyday struggles. Suyuan sa Tubigan portrays the simple yet challenging life in rural areas, highlighting how daily interactions, traditions, and economic difficulties reflect the realities of Filipino rural communities. Now, question number 52. How does colonial mentality appear in Philippine literature? Is it A. through nationalist themes, B. through foreign ideals, C. through native folklore, or D. through moral lessons? So the correct answer is letter B. through foreign ideals. Colonial mentality refers to the preference for foreign culture and values over native traditions. In literature, this appears when Filipino characters or narratives reflect admiration for Western standards or reject indigenous culture. Now let's go to question number 53. What is a defining feature of Nick Joaquin's writing? Is it A. religious satire, letter B. magic realism, letter C. documentary prose, or letter D. classical poetry? The correct answer is letter B. magic realism. Nick Joaquin is known for blending historical and supernatural elements with realistic settings. His works often explore Filipino identity through magical realism, where mystical and ordinary events coexist. Now let's proceed to question number 54. Why do Philippine legends remain relevant today? Is it A. they shape modern laws, letter B. they reflect cultural identity, letter C. they preserve ancient dialects, or letter D. they promote religious beliefs? So the correct answer is letter B. they reflect cultural identity. Legends carry the values, beliefs, and traditions of the Filipino people. They help preserve cultural identity by connecting modern Filipinos to their ancestral past. Now for question number 55. What theme is evident in Hinilawod, considering the journey of the three brothers? Is it A. the importance of material wealth, letter B. the inevitability of human failure, letter C. the power of wisdom over brute strength, or letter D. the rejection of familial duties? So the correct answer is letter C. the power of wisdom over brute strength. So in Hinilawod, the three brothers face challenges where cleverness, courage, and wisdom are more valuable than sheer physical power, reinforcing the value of intellect and strategy. Now, let's proceed to question number 56. In The Witch by Idilberto Tiempo, what does the villagers' fear of the old woman signify? Is it A. the declining importance of ancestral myths, or B. superstitious beliefs shaping community perceptions, or letter C. the positive influence of folklore and traditions, or letter D. the respect given to village elders? So the correct answer is letter B. suspicious beliefs shaping community perceptions. So the fear of the old woman reflects how deep-rooted superstitions influence how community perceive others, often leading to misunderstanding and prejudice. Now for question number 57. How does My Brother's Peculiar Chicken by Alejandro Rosas use humor? Is it A. to diminish the importance of scientific reasoning, or letter B. to highlight the absurdity of human perception, or letter C. to emphasize the dangers of rural superstitions, or letter D, to criticize traditional Filipino farming methods? So the correct answer is letter B, to highlight the absurdity of human perception. The story humorously explores how people tend to see things differently and how even something as simple as a chicken can spark confusion and debate. Now for question number 58. What does the act of stealing in The God Stealer by Francisco Chanel Jose symbolize? Is it A, the triumph of modern civilization? Letter B, the erosion of indigenous identity? Letter C, the rejection of colonial influence? Or letter D, the preservation of ancient beliefs? So the correct answer is letter B, the erosion of indigenous identity. So in The God Stealer, stealing the idol symbolizes the loss of Filipino cultural identity due to colonial influence and modernization. Now for question number 59. In Footnote to Youth by Jose Garcia Villa, how is irony used to convey the story's message? Is it A, by presenting marriage as a universally fulfilling experience? Or letter B, by romanticizing the consequences of rash decisions? Letter C, by contrasting youthful optimism with harsh realities? Or letter B, by depicting love as an effortless journey? So the correct answer is letter C, by contrasting youthful optimism with harsh realities. So the story explores how youthful excitement about marriage and adulthood often clashes with the harsh realities of responsibility and family life. Now for question number 60. How does The Mats by Francisco Arceliana explore the themes of loss? Is it A, by portraying grief as an unnecessary burden? Letter B, by emphasizing material possessions over emotions? Letter C, by reinforcing the importance of moving forward? Or letter D, by showing how traditions preserve memories? So the correct answer is letter D, by showing how traditions preserve memories. The mat symbolizes family bonds and remembrance, as each mat represents a family member, including those who have passed away. This reflects how traditions keep the memory of loved ones alive. For question number 61. What does The Conflict in Zita by Arturo Rotor reveal about societal expectations? So is it letter A, the rejection of emotional attachments? Letter B, the preference of individual happiness over obligations? Letter C, the struggle between personal desires and duty? Or letter D, the ease of breaking free from traditions? The correct answer is letter C, the struggle between personal desires and duty. In Zita, the main character faces a conflict between his feelings for Zita and his sense of duty to his future and societal obligations. This reflects how societal expectations often force individuals to sacrifice personal happiness for responsibility. Now let's proceed to question number 62. In Tatarin by Nick Joaquin, how do the male and female characters reflect cultural tension? So, the correct answer is letter A, by showing the clash between patriarchal beliefs and ancient traditions. So Tatarin explores the tension between the dominance of patriarchal values and the power of ancient fertility rites, where women hold spiritual and symbolic dominance, challenging male authority. For question number 63. How does A Night in the Hills by Paz Marquez Benitez contrast urban-rural life? The correct answer is letter D, by presenting nature as an escape from modern struggles. The protagonist longs for the simplicity of rural life as an escape from the pressures and emptiness of city living, highlighting the contrast between materialism and nature's peacefulness. Now let's go to question number 64. What social issue is highlighted in Children of the City by Amadis Maria Guerrero? So the correct answer is letter B, the exploitation of child laborers. The story exposes the harsh realities of child labor in urban areas, showing how children are forced to work under exploitative conditions due to poverty and lack of protection. Now let's go to question number 65. How does Harvest by Loreto Parasulit portray human greed? The correct answer is letter B, by showing the consequences of self-choices. The story illustrates how greed leads to tragic outcomes, emphasizing how selfishness and desire for material gain can destroy relationships and lives. Now let's go to question number 66. How does America is in the Heart by Carlos Bulusan depict immigrant struggles? So the correct answer is letter C, by illustrating discrimination and hardship. Bulusan's work reflects the struggles of Filipino immigrants in America, highlighting racism, poverty, and the difficulty of achieving the American dream. Next is question number 67. In Servant Girl by Estrella Alfon, what does Rosa's relationship with her employer suggest? So, the correct answer is letter B, the power imbalance between social classes. Rosa's dependence on and treatment by her employer reveal the social inequality and vulnerability faced by domestic workers in Filipino society. So now let's proceed to question number 68. How does The Pretenders by Francisco Chinol Jose critique social mobility? So the correct answer is letter B, by showing its potential for moral corruption. The protagonist's rise in social status comes at the cost of moral integrity and personal identity, suggesting that social mobility often involves moral compromises. Now let's go to question number 69. What does Sepang Loka reveal about societal judgment? The answer is letter D, the stigma against those who defy norms. Sepang Loka is judged and ostracized by the community because she defies societal norms, highlighting how rigid moral standards lead to exclusion and prejudice. Now let's proceed to question number 70. How does Dog Eaters by Jessica Hagedorn use satire? So the correct answer is letter B, by exposing contradictions in politics and media. So Hagedorn critiques the corruption, hypocrisy, and moral decay of Philippine society through sharp satire, particularly targeting the political and media landscape. Now let's proceed to question number 71. What does The Black Monkey by Edith Tiempo suggest about survival? So the correct answer is letter B, the willingness to defy expectations for self-preservation. The story explores how the characters are forced to act against social and moral norms to survive, emphasizing that survival sometimes requires difficult choices and defying societal expectations. Now let's proceed to question number 72. How does The Small Key by Paz La Torrena explore a marital conflict? So the correct answer is letter B, by depicting trust as fragile in relationships. The conflict arises when the wife discovers her husband's small key, which symbolizes hidden secrets and past relationships, showing how fragile trust can be within marriage. Now let's proceed to question number 73. How does Hinilawod reflect the worldview of the pre-colonial Visayans? The correct answer is letter D. It highlights their beliefs in deities, heroism, and destiny. So Hinilawod reflects the Visayans' animistic faith, reverence for deities, and beliefs in heroic quests and fate, which were central to their worldview before colonization. For question number 74, what makes ang mga kwento ni Lola Basyang a significant literary works? The correct answer is letter A. It preserves Filipino folklore through engaging narratives. Lola Basyang's stories pass down traditional Filipino values and myths, keeping oral traditions alive through engaging storytelling. Now let's proceed to question number 75. Why is Mga Agos sa Desierto considered a revolutionary work in Philippine literature? So, the correct answer is letter A. It challenges societal norms through social realism. So, the work portrays the harsh realities of Filipino society, poverty, corruption, and inequality without idealizing them, reflecting social realism. For question number 76, how does Tatarin by Nick Joaquin challenge traditional beliefs? So, the correct answer is letter B. It portrays tensions between modernity and old customs. So, this story contrasts the pagan fertility rite, representing ancient tradition, with the patriarchal modern Catholic society, showing how they clash. Question number 77. What social issues are highlighted in Si Tatang at ang Himala ng Ating Panahon? So the correct answer is letter B. Economic struggles and moral dilemmas of the lower class. So this story reflects the difficult moral choices faced by impoverished Filipinos, highlighting class struggles and economic disparity. For question number 78, how is the Darangan epic unique among Philippine epics? So the correct answer is letter B. It integrates cultural traditions alongside heroism. The Darangan not only tells the story of heroism and battles, but also incorporates Maranao cultural practices, traditions, and values. Now for question number 79. What central conflicts is evident in wedding dance? So the correct answer is letter B. Individual desires clashing with cultural expectations. The story's conflict arises from the husband's obligation to have children versus his wife's personal desire to stay married, highlighting cultural versus individual expectations. Now let's go to question number 80. How does Dekada 70 portray the experiences of women during martial law? So, the correct answer is letter B. It presents their transformation in a politically changed era. So, the mother's journey from a passive homemaker to an empowered activist mirrors the political awakening of Filipino women during martial law. Now, let's proceed to question number 81. What does Sa Mga Kuko ng Liwanag reveal about urban migration? So, the correct answer is letter C. The harsh realities and struggles of provincial workers. So, the novel follows Julio's difficult life as a construction worker in Manila, showing the exploitation, poverty, and the hardships faced by rural migrants seeking a better life in the city. Now let's go to question number 82. What theme is explored in Ang Baraha ng Buhay? So the correct answer is letter D, post-war survival and the resilience of Filipinos. So this story reflects the struggles of Filipinos rebuilding their lives after the devastation of war, highlighting their strengths and adaptability. Now, let's proceed to question number 83. How does ang mga tunok San Isa Kabulak contribute to Philippine literature? Well, the correct answer is letter A. It presents strong female perspectives in storytelling. The work emphasizes the strength and resilience of women, providing a unique female viewpoint in the context of Philippine literature. Now let's proceed to question number 84. Why is Balay ni Kadil significant in Philippine literature? So, the correct answer is letter D. It represents indigenous values through oral tradition. So the story is rooted in the traditions and cultural practices of indigenous communities, preserving their values through storytelling. Now let's proceed to question number 85. If Hinilawod were adapted into a modern fantasy novel, which element should be retained to preserve its indigenous roots? What do you think is the answer? So, the correct answer is letter B. The presence of enchanted creatures and ancient gods. So, the belief in spirits, gods, and magical beings is central to the epic's indigenous identity. So, preserving these elements maintains its cultural authenticity. Now, let's proceed to question number 86. So, in rewriting the wedding dance to emphasize modern feminist ideals, what major change should be made? So, the correct answer is letter B. Lumnish chooses to pursue personal aspirations instead of grieving for a wiyaw. So, modern feminist ideals emphasize female empowerment and self-determination. So, Lumnai's choice to focus on her own growth rather than conforming to societal expectations aligns with this theme. So, the correct answer, again, for number 86 is letter B. Now, for question number 87. If sa mga kuko ng liwanag were reimagined in a present-day urban setting, which social issue would be most relevant? So, is it A, labor exploitation and human trafficking? Is it B, a fantasy-inspired version of the protagonist's journey? Or letter C, a young man's easy success in the city? Or letter D, the glorification of provincial life? So the correct answer is letter A, labor exploitation and human trafficking. So the original story highlights the exploitation of workers, which remains a relevant issue today, particularly in the context of labor abuses and human trafficking. Now let's proceed to question number 88. Which of the following best modernizes Banaag at Sikat while maintaining its core message? Is it A, focusing on a love triangle between the main characters? Letter B, removing the themes of social injustice to appeal to modern audiences? Letter D, retelling the story through a contemporary workers' rights activist? Or letter D, setting the story in a distant foreign country with unrelated themes? So the correct answer is letter C. Retelling the story through a contemporary workers' rights activist. Banaag at Sikat explores themes of socialism and labor rights. So adapting it to the struggles of modern workers maintains its original message. Now let's proceed to question number 89. If a new poem were to be written inspired by Dekada 70, which theme would best reflect its historical significance? Is it A, the daily life of a traditional Filipino farmer? Or letter B, a fictional retelling of a famous love story? Or letter C, political oppression and the resilience of the Filipino people? Or letter D, the importance of environmental preservation? So, the correct answer is letter C, political oppression and the resilience of the Filipino people. So, Dekada 70 revolves around the political unrest and human rights violations during martial law. So, focusing on political oppression preserves its historical context. Now, for the last but not the least question number 90. How can indigenous elements from Balay Nicadil be effectively incorporated into a contemporary short story? So, is it A, by integrating traditional beliefs and practices into a modern conflict? Letter B, by rewriting the story in a purely scientific logical framework? Letter C, by setting the story in a European-inspired kingdom? Or letter D, by eliminating indigenous motifs to make the story more accessible? So, the correct answer is letter A, by integrating traditional beliefs and practices into a modern conflict. So, blending indigenous traditions with modern issues creates a meaningful connection between past and present, preserving cultural heritage while making the story relevant to today's audience. So, that's it for the analyzation of the 90-item test questions under professional education with the topic about principles of teaching. So in conclusion, Philippine literature. So in conclusion, Philippine literature plays a vital role in shaping our national identity and preserving our rich cultural heritage. Understanding its themes and historical context and societal influence helps future educators like us to effectively impart knowledge and instill appreciation for our literary roots. So thank you so much for your time and dedication. Best of luck, future LPTs. Goodbye.